Hello, my name is Mauricio Sebastián Lopez and I'm going to talk about the car disintegration process. This is a process that replaced the old process of car scrapping. This process used to just compact cars and throw them away when the owner wanted to. Maybe he just didn't want that car anymore or couldn't sell it, or well, he just wanted to throw it away to change for a new model, for example. In this process, what we do is to take everything useful from the car and try to reuse it or recycle it in a whole new process. For example, we could find some bolts that could be reused in some car that maybe lost that same bolt, and well, he needs it. It needs it. Or maybe these materials could be molten again so that a whole new use could be find out. For example, that same bolt could be molten to, I don't know, make a tool, for example, for the car. Well, this process begins with the fluid draining. This is very this is a very important step because in this step is where the most dangerous materials of the car are well disposed. For example, these materials could be the oil, the gas, or the fuel, whatever it is, and well disposed. And the other materials or parts, such as the body parts, like the mirrors, like some chairs, like the engine, or some brakes, could be just taken apart from the car and used in another car. Well, this is how I established the problem, which is what social, environmental, and legal factors make car disintegration the best way to manage the BFUs on Bogota. It's important to classify what these BFUs are. The BFUs stands for Vehículos fuera de uso in Spanish. These vehicles are the the ones that I explained before, that doesn't want to be used anymore, or that maybe the use of life has ended, or maybe the car is just crashed and the repairing is very expensive, so it doesn't it is not very useful to try to repair it. And the main objectives are: first, to find out what the principal recyclable materials used in a car are. Second, to gather information about Bogota's car market and its social impact. Third, to stand out the benefits of car disintegration as a friendly environmental process and look for ways to improve it. This last objective is very important because this is a process that is already being used for some years in the world. However, in some places like Europe, this process is very well established, and some laws have been established to take care of the environment. However, here we don't have that same rules, and the process is not that efficient. Why did I choose this problem? Well, we find that there are some great damage produced by the use of cars. First, we can find some diseases of lungs, for example, in people, and also we can find some change of weather, some loss of crops, some reduce of the hydric resources, which is a very uh, well important damage. Also, we can find that this process is very important because there are some very old cars that people just try to still use it, and these cars have not been um, designed to take care of the environment. Yeah. Also, a very important step, or yeah, is that the use of cars have been increasing a lot. This may be caused to the bad public transport that we find in the city, or maybe the dangerous places that we can find, and well, that we don't want to go there on foot, or well, maybe some other thing. Also, we lack of a good road infrastructure, so we cannot stand that many more vehicles come to work here on our city. There is some data that the Secretaría de Ambiente de Bogotá had been investigating about. Well, they find out that 43.6% of the terrestrial emissions are due to the cars. This is huge, like really huge. This means that 4 million tons of carbon dioxide yearly are thrown to the environment. This is very dangerous, and it's so much. Here in the state of the art, we could find the Ley 99 de 1993, which is the environmental law, as called. In the fifth article, we could find some regulations in order to control and reduce the contamination here on our city. It is also established some limits about how the cars should emit pollutants, or some download and transport of or deposit of substances. Also, we could find the politics of sustainable production and consumption, which they try to use better the dispose better the different residual parts of the car, and also to try to consume and like get a better disposal of these parts. And also we could find the Ley 1630 de 2013, which is a law that was established by the Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, in which the entities in charge of disintegration process should well take some steps and some precautions, so that the different parts and fluids recovered from the process should not like damage the environment. This is just like the most important laws here in Colombia about the process. And also we could find some like processes that we do every some years, like for example the technico-mechanical review, the gas emission regulation, and the oils and filters waste. It is important because it is a way that the state try to control the different pollutants that are getting into our atmosphere here in the country. Well, the first objective was just to investigate, so it was already been accomplished, and the most recyclable parts that we could find out are the bodywork, the tires, and the engine. These are some reusable parts that like represent a great percentage of the car. Also, to in order to control and to solve the other objectives, the idea is to make some interviews, for example in a concessionaire, where some questions about how the most sold cars models are. This in order to find out which are the most cars in our city. So, for example, we could find that most of the cars are model, I don't know, 1990, which would be a very worrying result, because, well, we could figure out that this model of cars is very dangerous to the environment. However, if we found out that the most used cars are model 2015, we could be not so much worried about. Also, we could interview some users. This in order to try to find out how many cars do we have in the city, how many years have been they used, and how often the people try to replace their cars, and why do they replace them. Maybe they were crashed, maybe they just don't want to spend some money on the repairs, or I don't know. This is the first like approximation of the idea. And also, the idea is to visit Sidenal. Sidenal is an enterprise of car disintegration. They do this process, and I think I may find out that the process has many like problems. For example, I think that this process will not be very well done because it's easier to just throw away everything. And people here in Colombia that, well, mainly the people that doesn't have some education, they just want to like make things fast and don't expend so much time on this type of process. So yeah, this is basically my project. Thank you.